Starsky's red and white Gran Torino wasn't Ford's first choice for the show. The iconic stripe pattern was painted incorrectly on multiple cars, creating continuity nightmares. This 70s cop car hid secrets that nearly got the production sued. Why did Ford initially refuse to provide vehicles? How did a paint shop's mistake become television history? And what made the cars so unreliable that producers kept mechanics on permanent standby? These are 20 weird facts about television's most recognizable muscle car. Number 20, Ford's initial rejection. Ford Motor Company initially refused to provide vehicles for Starsky and Hutch, creating a crisis before production even began. The studio approached Ford requesting free Gran Torinos for the series, standard practice for 70s television productions. But Ford's marketing department hated the concept. They worried associating their family sedan with violent police work would hurt sales. The Gran Torino was marketed to suburban families, not reckless television cops. Ford's refusal forced producer Aaron Spelling to purchase cars with his own money. He bought two 1975 Gran Torinos from a Los Angeles dealership for $6,800 each. The cars were base models with small block engines and automatic transmissions. Nothing special. Spelling gambled that the show's success would change Ford's mind. He was right. After the pilot episode tested well with audiences, Ford reversed their decision completely. They suddenly wanted the publicity, offering to provide additional vehicles and parts. But by then, Spelling had already purchased and modified two cars. He accepted Ford's belated support, but never let them forget their initial rejection. The relationship remained tense throughout the series. Ford provided vehicles reluctantly, always nervous about the cars being shown in dangerous situations. They constantly requested script approval for chase scenes, worried about liability. Spelling usually ignored their concerns. That initial rejection shaped the entire production. Because Spelling owned the first cars personally, he maintained creative control over modifications and appearance. Ford couldn't dictate how their vehicles looked on screen. This freedom led to the bold stripe design that Ford initially hated, but eventually made the Gran Torino famous. Number 19, the stripe pattern mistake. That iconic white stripe pattern wasn't what the designer originally intended. The design called for a thin, elegant stripe following the body lines, but the paint shop misunderstood the specifications completely. They applied a massive, bold stripe that overwhelmed the car's proportions. When producer Aaron Spelling saw the finished car, he was furious. The stripe looked nothing like the approved design. It was too wide, too aggressive, completely wrong. The paint shop admitted their error, but said reversing it would require stripping and repainting the entire car. This would cost $3,000 and delay production by 2 weeks.
About 16, right before I was...
Spelling was trapped. They needed to start filming immediately. He decided to live with the mistake, hoping it wouldn't look too terrible on camera. The opposite happened. Test audiences loved the bold stripe. It photographed dramatically, making the car instantly recognizable even in brief shots. The mistake stripe became the show's most iconic visual element. When Ford provided additional vehicles, Spelling insisted they replicate the incorrect stripe exactly. Paint shops struggled to match it because they were copying an error, not following logical design principles. Each new car's stripes were slightly different. Some were wider, others narrower. The top stripe's curve varied between vehicles. Continuity became impossible. Sharp-eyed viewers can spot stripe differences throughout the series. The paint shop's mistake created television history while making every subsequent car slightly wrong. Nobody could agree on what correct meant because the original was incorrect. That accidental stripe appears on every replica built since, cementing a mistake as an icon. Number 18, the underpowered engine problem. The Gran Torinos weren't powerful muscle cars. They had anemic 1975 Ford 351 Windsor V8s producing just 148 horsepower. Emission controls and oil crisis engineering had strangled performance completely. These were family sedans pretending to be pursuit vehicles. During the first chase scene filming, director William Wyard realized the cars were embarrassingly slow. They could barely chirp the tires. High-speed chases looked pedestrian because the cars had no speed to offer. Stunt coordinator Eddie Donna was furious, having choreographed stunts assuming real muscle car performance. The production company considered replacing the engines entirely. Performance shops quoted $15,000 per car for proper engine swaps. The budget couldn't absorb that cost across multiple vehicles. The solution was pure Hollywood deception. They removed the air cleaner assemblies, installed chrome valve covers, and added fake velocity stacks to the carburetor. These cosmetic changes made the engine bay look powerful in hood-open shots. For actual performance, they relied on camera tricks. Undercranking made slow driving appear fast. Tight editing hid the lack of acceleration. Sound editors added aggressive engine noises recorded from actual muscle cars. The dubbed engine sounds bore no resemblance to the wheezing 351 reality. Tire smoke effects were created by pouring oil on the pavement before filming. The cars would drive through the smoke, creating the illusion of powerful burnouts they physically couldn't perform. Every chase scene was elaborate fakery covering inadequate performance. Those 148 horsepower engines appear throughout the series, pretending to be twice as powerful through movie magic and creative editing. Number 17. The suspension collapse epidemic. The Gran Torino's factory suspension couldn't handle stunt work abuse. Coil springs broke constantly during jumps and hard landings. The first major stunt destroyed both front springs simultaneously, sending the car crashing nose first into pavement. Production halted while mechanics installed heavy-duty police package springs. These lasted barely 2 weeks before failing again. The problem was fundamental. Ford designed these suspensions for grocery runs, not television stunts. Mechanics eventually sourced springs from commercial trucks, cutting and modifying them to fit. The truck springs were ridiculously stiff, making the cars ride like buckboards. Actors complained constantly about being beaten up during normal driving scenes. Paul Michael Glazer developed back problems he attributed directly to the harsh suspension, but the truck springs survived stunt work without breaking. The production went through 43 sets of factory springs during season 1 alone, before switching permanently to modified truck components. Every Gran Torino ended up with mismatched, jury-rigged suspension that rode terribly but didn't break. The cars bounced and crashed over normal bumps, visible in many episodes. Number 16. The exploding transmission disaster. The automatic transmissions grenaded themselves with alarming regularity. Ford's C4 transmission wasn't designed for the constant abuse of filming. Hard acceleration from stops, aggressive downshifts, and power braking destroyed clutch packs within weeks. During season 1, production replaced 9 transmissions across 4 cars. Each replacement cost $2,300 plus downtime. Transmission specialist Rick Jeffries was hired on permanent retainer, essentially becoming a full-time crew member. He kept rebuilt transmissions in stock, swapping them like changing tires. The most spectacular failure occurred during filming on Sunset Boulevard.
It takes me quite a while to get to the corner and to exit the corner.
The transmission literally exploded, sending metal fragments through the floor pan. Transmission fluid sprayed everywhere, coating the undercarriage and rear wheels. The car spun wildly as the fluid-covered tires lost traction. Stunt driver Hal Needham barely avoided hitting pedestrians. Ford engineers visited the set to investigate the failures. They determined the transmissions were being operated far beyond design parameters. Their solution was switching to heavy-duty C6 transmissions from Ford trucks. These beefier units survived better, but required extensive modifications to fit. Number 15, the paint fade crisis.
There's not too much of a reflection. So this is the correct red, the body's nice.
The bright red paint faded dramatically under California sun exposure. Within 3 months of filming, the hero car's red had turned noticeably pink. The white stripe yellowed from ultraviolet damage. Cinematographer Charles Carell panicked when he noticed color inconsistency between early and later episodes. The problem was the paint type. The original paint shop used single-stage enamel without ultraviolet protection. This budget choice saved money initially, but created massive continuity problems. Cars filmed in different months looked completely different on screen. Production tried parking cars in covered areas between shoots, but damage was already done. The solution required repainting all vehicles mid-season. Paint shops applied modern base coat and clear coat systems with UV inhibitors. This helped, but couldn't match the original color exactly. Sharp viewers noticed color shifts throughout season 1. Early episodes show deep red. Later episodes display slightly different shades as cars were repainted with improved formulations. By season 4, the production repainted cars twice yearly to maintain consistency. Paint costs exceeded $12,000 annually, an unexpected budget drain that producers bitterly resented. Number 14. The steering wheel swap conspiracy. The Gran Torino's steering wheel changed multiple times throughout the series, and production hoped nobody would notice. The factory wheel was too large for the aggressive driving stunts required. Stunt coordinator Eddie Dono demanded a smaller diameter wheel for quicker hand-over-hand steering. Production installed Grant GT Sport wheels in all cars, reducing diameter by 3 inches. But continuity supervisors panicked when they realized close-ups showed different wheels than wide shots. Some cars kept factory wheels for dialogue scenes, while stunt cars used Grant wheels. Editors tried hiding the discrepancy through careful cutting, but sharp-eyed viewers caught it immediately. Fan mail poured in questioning the changing wheels. Production ignored the complaints, continuing to swap wheels based on filming needs. By season 3, they gave up entirely on consistency. Some episodes show 3 different steering wheel styles in the same car during the same scene. The wheel changes randomly between shots, an accepted continuity error that nobody addressed. The Grant GT wheel appears in most action sequences, while the factory wheel dominates dialogue scenes. Number 13. The door latch failure. The Gran Torino's doors wouldn't stay closed during aggressive driving. Factory door latches were designed for normal operation, not the constant slamming and vibration of stunt work. Latches wore out rapidly, allowing doors to pop open mid-scene. This created dangerous situations during chase sequences. Paul Michael Glazer's door flew open during filming, nearly ejecting him from the moving car. He grabbed the door frame desperately, pulling himself back inside. That terrifying moment was kept in the final cut because it looked dramatic. Production installed aftermarket racing door latches with positive locking mechanisms. These worked, but required deliberate unlocking, slowing down scenes where actors needed to exit quickly. Stunt drivers also used bungee cords as backup safety measures, hooking doors closed from inside. The cords were hidden below camera angles, but provided insurance against latch failures. Despite upgrades, doors occasionally still popped open during filming. Several episodes show doors not fully latched, sitting slightly ajar during driving scenes. Careful viewers can spot the gaps. Those unreliable door latches appear throughout the series as a persistent problem never fully solved. Number 12. The radiator overflow nightmare. The Gran Torinos constantly overheated during filming, spraying coolant across windshields and hoods. The factory cooling system was barely adequate for normal driving. Add television lighting, aggressive driving, and Southern California heat, and the cars became mobile fountains. The radiator overflow tanks couldn't contain the expanding coolant, spraying it everywhere. Windshields became coated with sticky coolant film, reducing visibility dangerously. Paint finishes were damaged by hot coolant etching into clear coat. Mechanics tried larger radiators, auxiliary fans, and higher capacity overflow tanks. Nothing solved the fundamental problem of demanding race car performance from family sedan engineering. The production accepted constant overheating as normal, keeping 20 gallons of premixed coolant on every location. Crew members refilled cooling systems between takes like pit crews servicing race cars. Steam and coolant spray appear in numerous chase scenes, added atmosphere that was actually mechanical failure. Sound editors removed the constant hissing of boiling coolant. Those inadequate cooling systems produced the smoke effect visible during many dramatic moments, actual steam from overwhelmed radiators. Number 11. The mag wheel theft ring. The Gran Torino's distinctive 5-spoke mag wheels became targets for thieves during filming. The American racing wheels cost $800 per set, expensive in 1975. Cars parked on location overnight were frequently targeted. Thieves stole wheels 3 times during season 1, leaving cars sitting on concrete blocks. Production hired security guards, but thefts continued. One particularly bold theft occurred outside Universal Studios itself. Thieves bypassed studio security and stripped 2 cars in the parking lot. Insurance covered replacement costs, but couldn't prevent filming delays. The production eventually installed locking lug nuts on all wheels, a new technology in 1975. These special lugs required unique keys to remove, making theft significantly harder. Attempted thefts continued, but thieves couldn't remove the secured wheels. Several cars show damage where thieves tried unsuccessfully. The locking lug nuts added $53 per car, but saved thousands in replacement wheels. Those American racing mags appear throughout the series, protected by early anti-theft technology that became industry standard decades later. Number 10. The Siren speaker destruction. The roof-mounted Siren speaker destroyed itself repeatedly through sheer volume and vibration. Production installed Federal Signal PA 300 speakers, commercial-grade units designed for police use. But television required sirens played at volumes far exceeding normal police operations. Directors wanted sirens loud enough to be heard clearly during chase scenes. The speakers were driven at maximum power constantly, far beyond their design limits. Voice coils burned out weakly from overheating. Speaker cones tore from excessive vibration.
Right, there he is.
During one chase scene, a speaker literally exploded, showering the windshield with paper cone fragments and voice coil wire. Production went through 47 Siren speakers during the series run. Each replacement cost $230 plus installation time. Electronics technician Barry Wise became a full-time employee, his job consisting entirely of replacing destroyed Siren speakers. He kept a stockpile of spare speakers in his van, following production to every location. The production eventually discovered that running speakers at 80% power instead of maximum extended lifespan dramatically, but directors refused, insisting on maximum volume for dramatic effect. Number 9. The interior door panel separation. The Gran Torino's interior door panels separated from their mounting points constantly during filming. Ford used plastic clips to secure door panels in 1975, adequate for normal use, but inadequate for television abuse. Actors slammed doors hundreds of times daily during takes and retakes. The constant impacts loosened clips, causing panels to rattle and separate. Door handles pulled through weakened plastic, creating holes in panels. During dialogue scenes, loose panels would vibrate audibly, ruining audio takes. Sound recordist Gary Alexander spent hours tightening and adjusting door panels between scenes. Production tried stronger adhesives, additional clips, and metal reinforcement brackets. Nothing lasted more than a few days. The solution was rebuilding door panels entirely, using marine-grade plywood backing and industrial adhesives. Custom fabricators charged $300 per door, but the reinforced panels survived filming abuse. Every Gran Torino eventually received custom door panels because factory panels self-destructed within weeks. Episodes from early seasons show visibly sagging door panels compared to later seasons with reinforced replacements. Number 8. The seat foam disintegration problem. The Gran Torino's factory seat foam literally disintegrated under California sun exposure combined with constant use. Ford used cheap polyurethane foam in 1975 that broke down rapidly when exposed to heat and ultraviolet light. Within 6 months of filming, the driver's seat foam had crumbled into powder. Actors sat on exposed springs covered by thin fabric. Paul Michael Glazer complained constantly about the uncomfortable seating. The passenger seat fared slightly better, but also deteriorated quickly. Foam fragments contaminated the entire interior, creating clouds of yellow dust whenever actors sat down. The dust-coated costumes and triggered allergies among cast and crew. Wardrobe department staff spent hours brushing foam particles off clothing between takes. Production tried replacing foam with standard automotive upholstery foam. It lasted marginally longer, but still disintegrated within weeks. The breakthrough came from an unexpected source. A furniture upholsterer suggested marine-grade foam designed for boat seating. This foam resisted sun damage and compression far better than automotive foam. Installing marine foam required completely rebuilding seats at $500 per car. Every Gran Torino eventually received marine foam seats because nothing else survived the abuse. But by then, actors had endured months of sitting on disintegrating foam and exposed springs. David Soul later joked that his chiropractor bills exceeded his series salary. Those rebuilt seats with marine foam appear in later seasons, finally providing comfort after years of suffering. Early season episodes show actors subtly shifting positions constantly, trying to avoid exposed springs and foam-free spots nobody could see on camera. Number 7. The electrical fire outbreak. The Gran Torino suffered repeated electrical fires caused by amateur wiring modifications. Production electricians installed additional lights, sirens, and radio equipment without properly upgrading the electrical system. The factory wiring harness couldn't handle the increased amperage load. Wires overheated constantly, melting insulation and creating short circuits. The first fire occurred during a night shoot when smoke poured from beneath the dashboard. Crew members extinguished it quickly using fire extinguishers, but damage was extensive. Investigation revealed melted wiring throughout the dashboard harness. Similar fires occurred in 3 more cars over the next 2 months. Each fire destroyed expensive equipment and delayed production by days. Insurance companies threatened to drop coverage unless electrical systems were properly engineered. The production hired an automotive electrical engineer who spent 2 weeks redesigning the entire system. He installed heavier gauge wiring, additional circuit breakers, and proper fusing for every added component. The upgrades cost $3,200 per vehicle, but eliminated fire risks. Even with improvements, electrical problems persisted. Lights failed randomly. Sirens stopped working mid-scene. The radio equipment produced interference that ruined audio takes. Electricians became permanent fixtures on set, constantly troubleshooting mysterious electrical gremlins. Those jerry-rigged electrical systems caused more production delays than mechanical failures. Every car carried fire extinguishers mounted within driver's reach, grim acknowledgement that fires remained possible despite improvements. Several episodes show actors with fire extinguishers visible in background shots, unintentional documentation of the ongoing electrical fire concerns. Number 6. The windshield washer fluid explosion. The windshield washer systems exploded during filming due to pressure buildup in sealed containers. Ford's 1975 washer reservoir was a sealed plastic bag mounted in the engine compartment. Heat from the engine caused fluid expansion. In Southern California's summer temperatures, the bags would swell dangerously. During one chase scene, a washer bag exploded with enough force to blow the hood safety latch open. The hood flew up at highway speed, completely blocking the driver's vision. Stunt driver Hal Needham steered blind, relying on memory and luck. He managed to stop safely, but the incident terrified everyone. Production discovered that all washer bags were near failure, swollen to 3 times normal size. They immediately drained all washer systems and removed the bags entirely. For the rest of the series, the windshield washers were completely non-functional. Whenever scripts required washer use, crew members manually sprayed water on windshields off-camera. The bags were never reinstalled because production feared another explosive failure. Those empty washer reservoirs appear throughout the series, invisible compromises made for safety. Careful viewers notice windshield washers never work in any episode after season 1. The characters never mention it, but Starsky's Gran Torino spent 4 seasons unable to clean its own windshield. Production kept spray bottles of water on every location, the low-tech solution to an explosive problem that nearly caused a serious accident. Number 5. The exhaust system backfire problem. The Gran Torino's exhaust system produced constant backfiring that terrified pedestrians and ruined audio takes. The combination of underpowered engines and emission control equipment created rich fuel mixtures that ignited in hot exhaust pipes. During deceleration, unburned fuel would explode violently in the mufflers, producing gunshot-loud bangs. Pedestrians on location would dive for cover, thinking gunfire had erupted. Police received numerous calls reporting shootings during filming. Sound recordist Gary Alexander fought constantly with directors about the backfiring, destroying dialogue scenes. The explosions were so loud, they obscured actors' voices completely. Muffler shops tried installing different exhaust systems to eliminate backfiring. Nothing worked because the problem originated in the engine's emission controls. Production eventually accepted the backfiring as unavoidable. Sound editors learned to anticipate backfires and edit around them. Several episodes retained backfire sounds as unintentional atmosphere. That constant exhaust popping appears throughout the series, a mechanical quirk that became the car's audio signature. Fans remember the Gran Torino sounding aggressive, not realizing they were hearing emission control failures. Number 4. The tire sidewall blowout crisis. The Gran Torinos suffered catastrophic tire sidewall failures during aggressive cornering. Ford specified narrow bias ply tires inadequate for television stunt work. During hard cornering, the sidewalls would flex excessively and overheat. Blowouts occurred frequently during chase sequences. One particularly dangerous failure happened during filming on Mulholland Drive. The right front tire exploded mid-corner at 45 miles per hour. The car spun violently toward a cliff edge. Stunt driver Ronnie Rondell fought the steering, stopping just 3 feet from going over. That near-death experience forced tire upgrades across the entire fleet. Production switched to radial tires with reinforced sidewalls designed for performance applications. The new tires cost twice as much, but eliminated blowouts. However, the wider radials required wheel spacers to prevent rubbing. The The spacers created their own problems, increasing wheel bearing wear dramatically. Bearings needed replacement every 6 weeks instead of lasting the entire season. Those upgraded radial tires appear in later seasons, invisible safety improvements bought with a terrifying near disaster. Number 3. The body panel gap nightmare.
Okay, quarter panel, roof panel.
The Gran Torino's body panels developed increasingly large gaps as filming progressed. Ford's 1975 build quality was notoriously poor, with panels fitting loosely from the factory. Constant stunt work and rough handling made gaps worse. The hood developed a 1-inch gap on the passenger side, allowing engine heat and fumes into the cabin. The trunk lid no longer aligned with the quarter panels, creating unsightly mismatches. Door gaps grew so large that wind noise became overwhelming during highway filming. Cinematographer Charles Carrell tried hiding gaps through careful camera angles, but the problem was too extensive. Production hired body shop specialists to realign panels between seasons. They discovered the frame had twisted slightly from repeated hard landings. Realigning panels required shimming and adjusting every mounting point. The work cost $4,000 per car and lasted approximately 6 weeks before gaps returned. By season 4, production abandoned attempts at perfect panel fit. Close-ups avoided showing body gaps while wide shots accepted them as unavoidable. Those expanding panel gaps appear throughout the series, growing worse each season. Number 2. The fuel tank relocation lawsuit.
And there it is, and it fits wonderfully. So, if you're doing this swap...
The Gran Torino's fuel tank location created a lawsuit that nearly bankrupted the production. Ford positioned the tank behind the rear axle in 1975, a placement later proven dangerous in rear-end collisions. During filming, a picture car was rear-ended by a civilian driver who ran a red light. The fuel tank ruptured, spilling gasoline across the intersection. Fortunately, no fire occurred, but the civilian driver sued both production and Ford. The lawsuit claimed the dangerous tank placement combined with filming negligence created the accident. Ford's legal team fought viciously, worried about precedent for future product liability cases. They blamed the production for operating the vehicle recklessly. Production blamed Ford for selling dangerous vehicles. The lawsuit dragged through courts for 3 years, costing both parties hundreds of thousands in legal fees. It settled confidentially in 1979, terms never publicly disclosed. But the lawsuit had consequences. Insurance companies dramatically increased premiums for picture car coverage. Ford's relationship with the production, already strained, became openly hostile. Ford refused to provide any technical support during the final season. The fuel tank placement was eventually redesigned in later Gran Torino models, though Ford never admitted the 1975 location was defective. That dangerous tank location appears in every episode, invisible but legally explosive. The lawsuit's confidential settlement prevented public discussion, keeping this near-disaster secret for decades. Cast members were forbidden from mentioning the accident or lawsuit in interviews, maintaining the illusion that filming was always safe and problem-free. Number 1. The Hero Cars Museum controversy. Here's the craziest part of the entire Starsky and Hutch story. Multiple cars claim to be the original Hero vehicle, creating an authentication nightmare. After the series ended in 1979, the Gran Torinos were sold at auction. A car, authenticated by Universal, sold for $47,000. But years later, another original appeared with equally convincing documentation. Eventually, 5 different cars claimed hero status, each with paperwork supporting their claims. The problem was production secrecy. Universal never properly documented which car was which during filming. They used cars interchangeably, and nobody tracked individual vehicles. Vehicle identification numbers were recorded inconsistently. Production logs were vague or missing. This created opportunity for fraud. Some cars were legitimately used in filming but weren't hero vehicles. Others were replicas with forged documentation. Collectors paid hundreds of thousands for cars that might be authentic or might be elaborate fakes. In 2005, a forensics team attempted to authenticate all claimants using paint analysis, wear patterns, and production photographs. They conclusively identified one car as definitely appearing in the pilot episode, but they couldn't determine if it was the hero car or a stunt double. The other 4 cars remained mysteries. Today, 3 different museums display the original Starsky Gran Torino. Each has documentation supporting their claim. Each contradicts the others. Collectors argue passionately about which is real. The truth is probably lost forever, buried in 40-year-old production chaos where nobody imagined these cars would become valuable enough to fight over. There you have it, 20 weird facts about Starsky's Gran Torino that even hardcore fans never knew. Which fact surprised you most? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more classic television car secrets. Until next time, keep those stripes straight and we'll catch you later.